I'm Dan with Holman Motors, and I'll be showing your 2013 Voltage unit to you today. We'll start on the right side or the curb side, which is also the passenger side, and we'll start up front with the area right between your main storage area and your entry door. Start with your keyless entry. Your keyless entry is located right here. When you get your unit, the unit is preset, or the keyless entry is preset at the factory. You'll need to check your manual, and that will tell you what that keyless entry is preset to, and then you can go through and preset it to, or reset it then to whatever entry code you would like to, so that it's set to your specifications. You also notice that you have a 110 outlet located here. You have a number of 110 outlets located on the outside of your unit, and a number of them also on the inside near water areas. Those are all GFI, or ground fault interrupt secured. They are all GFI into your master bathroom, and we'll show you where that is once we get inside. So if any of these on the outside of your unit here, are also located here, fail to function for you properly, before you panic, go inside and check that reset button on that GFI inside that main bathroom. Located right here is the outside access panel to your furnace. Right in here is the outside vent. Whenever you're running that furnace, this outside vent area is going to become quite hot. And this is one of the areas here, the outside of your hot water heater, and also the outside panel of your refrigerator, which we'll get to when we move around to that area, are one of the places where you might need to get a one of the more fine screens to put over these in case you have problems with waspers or mud daubers. They like to build nests inside here. They seem to like the smell of the propane. Any of those items, or any of the other items that we talk about in our tour around or inside your unit, you can purchase through HolmanMotors.com. Go into our RV store and you can access those. Or if you want to call our Holman parts store, that catalog will be located in your startup kit, which you'll find inside your unit. Talk to any of our very knowledgeable personnel, and they'll help you figure out exactly what it is to go with your particular unit. As we go up to this area here, you're going to find your main storage area. Again, right here is an access for a 110 plug, and this is the access area to a large portion of your electrical areas. This really is for the techs to work on if they need to get into your electrical panels. Tie downs, and the red or the dirt devil, that red area there is for the bags to go into for your onboard vacuum. You'll find bags stored inside there. You'll pull those out, install those, and that will be where you would then change those out for your bags for your dirt devil. Above that, you will find heat vents. This is a heated storage area, so if you are doing all-season camping, this would be a heated area as part of your heated underbelly, as long as you are running your LP generated heat system in your unit. You also have a wrench located there, which is a bypass wrench for your landing gear, and that wrench also accesses your onboard spare tire, and that would be that wrench that is located right there. Right here is one of your two LP tanks. You have two LP tanks. They are both 30-gallon LP tanks. Right now, this one is open, and I know that I'm drawing from this LP tank because this little window is showing clear or green, and the arrow is pointing to the hose that comes back and comes down to this LP tank. Our techs have checked and made sure they have topped off these LP tanks and made sure that this one and the one on the other side is full. If this, when this tank goes dry, the regulator will automatically switch you over to the LP tank on the other side, and you would then automatically be pulling from that LP tank. Most of us that camp shut down that tank on the other side so that when this tank goes dry, the regulator doesn't shift me to that other tank, and I end up eventually with two empty LP tanks, and I'm camping someplace where I cannot get my tank refilled. Say I'm in the middle of cooking supper and the camp store is closed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and shut down that LP tank on the other side, and that way you'll have this tank available for use. The tank on the other side will be shut down. However, when your unit arrives to you, there's a very good chance that you'll find both of these tanks closed because our transport people will probably close both of these tanks for transportation. This door is a slam door, and it is a non-locking door because there might be the chance that you need to get in here in the case of an emergency without having to fumble for keys. As we come around to the front of your unit, you're going to notice up front here, this is not a storage area. Right here you have your deep cycle marine battery. It is a battery that you will need to check the fluids in every so often. And when you check those fluids, you would want to make sure that those fluids are above the plates that are in there. If you need to add additional fluids, you would make sure that you're adding distilled water to that. Then you would reattach this cover, making sure that that vents out through the vent port located to the top there. All of your electronics here would need to be very carefully left so that you don't have anything stored in here that could damage those. To the right of your battery is your onboard generator or your onboard power system. You're going to find a manual located inside your unit for this, but you do have service information right here. One of the main things for your onboard power system or your generator is that manual and the manufacturers recommend, and we concur with that you need to run this at least 2 hours under load every month to keep this unit in top working condition. What we do is we recommend that you keep in that manual a log book so that you can date and time the amount of time that you are actually operating this unit. When you operate it, you would push in the stop prime button, allow that little light to come on, and then start up your unit. Now I'm only going to run that for approximately 15 seconds or so because it takes about 30 seconds for this unit to take over and start actually powering the my camper unit. And I don't want to confuse my camper unit because I have the shoreline plugged in, and it would confuse the unit if I have both the generator running and the shoreline plugged in. Just briefly, here's the oil fill right here, this yellow cap, and the oil drain. If you remote start the generator from inside your unit and you find out that after a minute or so the power has not come on fully for your unit from the generator, come out here and check your circuit breakers. There's a good chance that during transit the circuit breakers have flipped and you need to reset those. When you're operating your generator, you're going to want to operate it with the front door of the generator closed and in the secure position. That allows it to cool itself properly. And you're also going to want to operate it with this front panel closed to allow it to be quieter and also to vent itself from inside through the bottom. Many people with fifth wheels have found that they want to clean this pin off, remove all of that grease, and go with the Teflon plate or the Teflon ring that they would put on there. That way you have less grease and dirt there for when you're walking around it at the campground, and that Teflon ring also tends to be much quieter when you're towing your unit. On the front here you have your landing gear or your landing lights or your docking lights, and those are controlled from right here. As you move around to your driver's side or your off-curb side, you have your manufacturer's stickers here with your VIN number, which you will need to license your unit and also for insurance purposes, and your manufacturer's recommended cold PSI for your tires, which is 80 PSI for your particular unit. Always remember that you want to check those tires, to check that tire pressure out before you pull out of home each time. You want to keep those at 80 PSI cold to allow safe travel, and you also want to check the lugs to make sure that your wheel lugs are fastened tight and you're in good shape for a safe journey. Inside this storage compartment is your other LP tank, and remember that that regulator would automatically switch it over if you don't have this one turned off, and we're going to go ahead and shut it down. Couple of maintenance items on your unit. One is your roof. Your roof is a maintenance item. It is a rubber roof on this unit, and that rubber roof, where it attaches to the front and the back of your unit, is attached with a Dicor brand caulking. That Dicor brand caulking is what the roof manufacturers recommend. It is what we also here at Holman Motors recommend. And any place anything comes up through that rubber roofing, you're going to have to make sure that at least a couple of times a year. What I usually do is when I bring my unit home from camping and I wash my unit, I physically get up on there and I want to double check and make sure that that rubber roof is in good shape. I'm looking at that caulking around where the plumbing fixtures come up, where the roof air conditioners come up through there, and I'm making sure that that's caulking is not starting to crack. I'm making sure that that caulking is not starting to deteriorate, and if it is, I want to get that Dicor brand caulking and go right back over that with a self-leveling caulking, and that then takes care of that and makes sure that that roof is in good shape. At no point do I ever want to use a silicone product on that rubber roof, as that silicone product would start to eat into that roof and void out my rubber roof warranty. I also periodically, about once a year, want to treat my roof with a good rubber roof protectorant and sealant, such as a Protect All brand or the best rubber roof brand. Works very well. Be careful when you're doing that, that does get quite slippery. Another maintenance item on your Voltage is your slides. Your slides are equipped with the latest in technology for slides, the Swintex slides. They have the electronic motors in each side of the slide, and they slide out on these little gears, both on the big main slides and the little front slide. On the main slide, as well as the little slide, you want to keep these gears very clean. You want to clean them, and you would want to use a dry spray on those. You do not want to use an oil-based spray. An oil-based spray would build up on there and would collect dirt and grime and dust and cause that eventually to not function as well as it would if you use the dry spray. And again, you can get that through HolmanRV or HolmanMotors.com, or call our knowledgeable staff at our parts store. These rubber gaskets are very important on all of your slides, underneath and on top. You want to keep them very soft and pliable. They are the rubber seals that will actually remove all of the moisture and debris from the sides, and especially on the top, so that nothing comes inside your unit when you close the slides up. That you want to spray with a UV protectorant type spray. I spray mine about every other time I wash my unit. These you would want to spray probably when you get your unit now, and about twice a year. Something you might also want to add to your unit is what's called a slide topper. They're the little awnings that attach on top of each one of the slides and would protect the top of your slide when your slides are going in and out, and particularly when they're out and you're camping, especially like under trees and that, from getting all that extra debris on there and possibly having that come in when you're camping. As we talk about this side of your unit, right here you have your electronic leveling system, and what I've done right now, I've actually run it through the electronic leveling. It has leveled your unit on its own, and when it's finished, this little green light in the middle of the triangle or the square, depending on how you look at it, comes on and glows and tells me that I was successful and my unit is now successfully leveled. I do not ever want to bring my slides out until I have leveled my unit. With these new Swintex slides, if the unit is not level, you run the risk of your slide getting hung up either part way out or all the way out, and it being out of line when you try to bring it back in. So always level your unit before you run your slides either in or out, making sure that the unit is level. Then when you get ready to bring your unit or the slides in, you would scroll through here going to retract, go to enter, retract, and then you would hit rear. You would retract the rear stabilizers, which would bring up your rear jacks, the center jacks. You could then go to, with your arrows here, retract all. Be careful when you retract all, that would also bring your front down. If you want to just retract your back ones, you go to retract, hit scroll up to here, retract rear. Then to return it to the level where you have your tow vehicle, hit both left and right at the same time, and it will automatically take the unit back to the height that your tow vehicle can back into it, and you're ready to take off with your tow vehicle after you successfully mated your tow vehicle with your camper. When you get ready to pull your camper out, always make sure you bring up the jack extensions to their fully retracted position manually so that you don't ground those as you pull out of your campground. Also in this area, you have a storage area here, which you're going to find your 6 foot of sewer hose, which we'll refer to momentarily. You're going to find a brief introduction and information about your leveling system, and you're going to find your battery disconnect. You want to leave your battery disconnect turned to the on position all of the time you're using your unit for normal operation. That allows your battery to be trickle charged when you're plugged into electric. It also allows that battery to be trickle charged when you're towing your unit with your tow vehicle. The only time you would turn that to the off position is when you are putting your unit in long-term storage and you do not want to have your electronics in your unit drain down the battery on your unit. Coming to this part of the panel, from the top down, you have a work light, cable or satellite hookup through a coaxial that would then vent down or access through this bottom panel here. And this is where you would also bring in any other items that you want to bring in, such as water hoses and or electric plug. My freshwater connection, to fill my freshwater tank, I would fill through here. And you have about a 150 gallon onboard water tank that you would fill here. Normally, for normal use, you would probably fill that about half full for normal transportation, so you don't have so much weight to haul behind you. Coming on down, we'll come back to these two in a minute. You have your onboard spray, so you can use this to plug in the little spray nozzle that you'll find inside your unit to wash down your toys, wash down the dog, dirty feet from hiking, etc. Coming on down, we'll come back to these in a minute, you will find your city water connection. Your city water connection would be where you would hook your water hose up through here, and we do give you a water hose as part of your startup kit. Put that water hose connect into here and plug it into a city water spigot. We recommend very strongly that when you hook into here that you use a regulator. That regulator protects your onboard water system from overpressurization from a city water hookup at a campground. You might also want to use an L or a 90-degree bracket or adapter so that you don't kink your water hose. Very important when you hook up your water hose that you hook to the city water connection, not to your Sandy flush, which we'll talk about in a minute. When you connect to the city water connection, that automatically pressurizes your onboard water system and bypasses your fresh water connection, which is your onboard water system, and uses your onboard water pump, which we'll talk about when we go inside. Now, to use your onboard sewer system, Bob's going to scan over here to the dump hookup, which is located right kind of between that stabilizer and the front of that tire. It's got a bayonet connection and allows you to dump your sewer. Also back there, you're going to find a little hole that will also dump your galley sink tank. So actually, to dump that galley sink, you're going to have to go back there. If you have your slide out, you have to crawl underneath there and pull that slide out to dump that galley sink. It dumps out of the same spot as that sewer hookup there. And this sewer hose would actually physically hook into that bayonet connection there and get you to a dump hookup. This sewer hose is about long enough to get you to a dump hookup. At a typical campground, you're going to need to have purchased probably a 10 to a 15 foot sewer hose with an L adapter to actually get you into a hard connection into the ground. Now when you get ready to dump, which is what we've been talking about, you're going to pull this to dump your toilet, which is your black water tank, and that pulls out. Once you've dumped your black water tank, you're going to pull this one, which is your sink tanks, and your shower tank for your main bathroom. Once you've done both of these, you would close those both off, go inside, check your meters, which we'll show you when we go inside, and you have successfully dumped your tanks. Now, if you check your toilet tank, which is your black water tank, and it tells you that you still have not dumped your tank, even though you know that everything's run out, then you have a buildup of solids in that black water tank. Come out here, hook a water hose to here. After you have pulled this out, again, and making sure that you're still attached to that sewer hose. Because what you're going to do is when you turn on that water hose, you're going to flush water through the jet system built into your black water tank by hooking into here, and you're going to activate that jet system in that black water tank, flushing out that black water tank and flushing out those solids that are built up in your black water tank. If you have not pulled this out, then what's going to happen is you're going to have a buildup of all of that sewer water and black buildup of solids in that black water tank. That's going to eventually build up and back up inside your unit, and you're going to have quite a mess inside your unit. So you want to make sure you pull this out, connect your sewer hose there, or leave it connected. Make sure that's open before you hook up to here and start flushing out that black water tank. What are these two for? These two are for when you get ready to winterize your unit. Hook an old water hose that you've cut the end off down into your jugs of antifreeze. Switch this over to winterize. What that does is it bypasses your fresh water connection and will send the antifreeze only through your water lines. Turn this valve to winterize, and what that does is it bypasses your hot water tank. You do not want to put 12 gallons of antifreeze in your hot water tank by wasting that antifreeze, and you don't want that antifreeze in that hot water tank, which would then give you the smell of that antifreeze in that hot water tank. Then you go inside, turn on your water pump inside, open up all of your water faucets one by one inside, hot water, cold water, pink water, antifreeze comes out, shut them off, and do that on every faucet that you have in your unit, including this one, shower, etc. Let that pink antifreeze go down through the sink, through the drains, which would then protect your drains as well. Once you have done that for all of your fixtures, it probably takes about 4 gallons of antifreeze for a unit your size. Come out here, disconnect, and leave that set up, and you have successfully winterized your unit. Or you can take your unit to a camper store and have them do it for you. When you get ready to de-winterize it, you would flush this in reverse with clear water through this system. Then switch these over, open this up, let fresh water come through here, open your pressure relief valve, and purge the system of all of the antifreeze. Now, we've already done that for you, so this is all good to go. Everything's turned back, you have water in your system, and we're ready to use the system for normal camping. So in order to use my hot water tank, which is a 12-gallon hot water tank, if I want to use the electric part of it, I pull this little counter pin out here, and I turn this little rocker switch on, and I have now turned on the electric part of my hot water tank. The outside part of it, there's also a switch inside, which we'll show you when we go inside. To turn the gas part on, I have to turn that on inside. My hot water tank is both gas and electric, and I can use both one at a time or together. To use the gas part, it is electronic ignition. I don't have to light up a pilot light outside. I turn it on inside, the gas heats through here, and I have a gas hot water heater. To use the electric part, I turn the electric on here, and I turn it on inside. Here's the gas part of it right here, and it heats by electric. If for some reason my gas burner doesn't light off, I come out here and I hit these two reset buttons, and I would reset my gas part of my gas burner. With what I do when I'm camping, and what a lot of campers do, is I want to make sure that I have water in my unit before I do either the gas or the electric. So I always make sure that I check my pressure relief valve, and I make sure that there's water in here. Doesn't hurt anything that I get water on here, but I know for sure I have water in here before I light it off. That way I'm not going to hurt my unit by lighting it off. Advantages or disadvantages of using gas or electric. If I use the electric part, I'm using the electric at the campground. I'm not wasting my LP gas. if I fire up the LP gas and use the gas plus the electric, then what I'm doing is I'm regenerating my hot water faster, and I do that whenever we're showering to get the hot water to regenerate faster, shutting the gas part off when I'm not taking showers. One of those places where I might need one of those extra screens. Your 50 amp shoreline plugs in here. One of the nice features on your unit is when I'm plugged in, I actually have a little light that glows here that lets me know that the campground circuit is actually on and functioning. Because some of the places I've been camping, I'm not sure that their campground electric is actually working. So this lets me know, yes, I'm good, everything is fine, I have electric and I'm in good shape. When I plug into here, that hooks up and generates my electrical system. I have 50 amps of service. You need 50 amps of service to power both air conditioners. Some campgrounds may only have a 30 amp hookup, such as state parks, etc. We give you a 50 to a 30 amp adapter that you can plug in and use that 30 amp adapter at a campground such as a state park. Only run one AC unit when you have 30 amps of electric, or you run the risk of burning out both of your air conditioners. We also give you a 30 to a 15 amp adapter so that you can use that when you're at your home to start your refrigerator, run your lights, your TV, etc. while you're getting your unit ready to go camping. Do not ever run either air conditioner if you're not hooked into at least 30 amps. If you're plugged into that 15 amps, you run the risk of burning out both air conditioners. As we move on back on your unit, again, let me remind you to make sure that you check your wheel lugs before you leave home each time. And here you're going to notice a second Sani flush. This Sani flush is for your back bathroom, and that back bathroom, the hookup for it is right here, and the pull for it is located
up
underneath. Thank you, Bob. Right here, and that dumps both right here, and that Sani flush would be for there. The same thing. Always make sure that this pull is out. You're hooked into here before you generate or activate that Sani flush. Now, if you're at a campground and you're going to be there for a week or so and you want to have both of these hooked up, you're going to need to get a Y adapter, run a sewer hose out of the front one, a sewer hose out of this one, hook them into a Y adapter, and then have one hose going into your in-ground hookup at your campground. Because campgrounds only have one spot that you can go into at each campground. Here you're going to find your gas hookup for your toys. That is controlled by the off-on switch here. Turn it on. You have a timer built into it with a fuel gauge. This fill is for the tank for your fill here. This tank fill is for your generator. Your generator off-on switch and your generator gauge, fuel gauge, is built in, is inside, and I'll show you, where that is once we get inside. Here's a good spot to show you that extension that I was talking about. Once you bring up your stabilizers, always make sure you bring up this bottom foot extension to the fully retracted, so that when you're pulling in and out of a campground, you don't bottom that out and rip that stabilizer off in a low spot. Also, you have a ground wire on this fuel fill. Make sure you have that grounded to whatever it is that you're filling, so that you don't have a spark ignite something and cause a dangerous situation that way. Your ladder that you'll find inside your unit to access your roof, attach the ladder up over the top where you can see up there, and then it snaps into these two or four attachments here. Ladder is not designed to be used while you're towing your unit. It's designed to be used when you're stationary. Primarily, most probably will be left at home. On the back side of your unit, and pull out both sides to allow you to swing your main door down. These are nice because you'll find on your key section of keys self-locking, so you don't need an additional padlock. We recommend to you on your unit, since you do have the extension porch unit on yours with the wraparound, it's always a good idea to open this, and you're going to find right on the inside here, we'll show you those inside, up inside the toolbox area here are all the cables and the hookups for that porch when it comes down. You're going to want to attach all of those cables up to the top corners, and then to the about halfway down here. I don't think we have quite enough room here to open this, but you're going to want to attach those before you try to start opening out your screens. And when you open those screens, there's pins on the bottom and the top to open the screens out, and then you open the two inner screens and open those out, fold them, and attach them. Do you think we can open it, Bob?
I think so.
Thank you, Bob.
Yep.
Just enough room.
Hang on.
What we're talking about is right up in the corners, you're going to see little brackets. That's where you attach the cables. And then they come down and they attach right here on the big bay door, the garage door. And you're going to want to do that, so you'll actually attach the top first, have someone helping you, and hold this up and attach these here, so that this is actually going to be in this position, excuse me, before you try to open these up. Then when you open these, you've actually got this thing up. These will swing up and over by pulling these pins out. Pulling the pins out here, they swing up. Then the halfway parts pop in and go into these little feet holders here, so that you have the surround screening to keep children and pets, etc., on the back party deck area.
Yeah.
When you get ready to open and close this, if you happen to notice that it won't open or close for you, there's a good chance that these center pipes in transit have worked their way to the wrong spot and are holding this from opening. Or when you get ready to close it, if it won't close, make sure these pipes, there's very little tolerance for them to open and close. They can be hanging up. Also, you'll see the strap up there that Bob's showing you. That will bring down that screen door. Actually, it's a screen wall to screen off the whole back of your unit. We were referencing to the area where you're going to find all that, and that's on all your cables and everything are in this toolbox area here, which actually extends out to about here. So that's quite a nice large area. And if you'll notice, we have right now, we have the bottom bunkhouse area opened up into the, so it's set up as a table. And if I can, I'll kind of walk up here because I'm going to refer to this later. They're up in your front, underneath your front bed in your master bedroom. There are two cushions that have metal plates on the bottom. One of those cushions will slide in from here. The other one will slide in from the front side. And there are a couple of pins that go up underneath there to give you the surround seating in this back dinette area. So when we refer to those cushions, when we get up into the inside in the front, one goes in from the back, the other one goes in from the front. It is possible to get them in from the front, but it is so much easier to open this back door, slide them in from here. You also see your outside ladder and your two inside ladders, and we'll refer to all those once we get inside. You can also see your overhead backup lights. Those are turned off and on from a switch which will show you inside. You also have on your unit the remote backup camera, and you'll find that the truck unit will be in one of the drawers in your galley, and the instructions and all that is pretty self-explanatory. Put the receiver unit in your tow vehicle, and then the camera unit is mounted on the back of your trailer. Really handy when you're backing this thing in to a large campsite. Remember, when you are backing this into a campsite, that you're going to need about 10-12 feet of space clearance back here. So if you're backing it in and I'm a tree right here, you're not going to be able to get this thing down. So keep that in mind. You might want to carry either a tape measure with you or something so that you know that you have plenty of clearance space back here. Same thing when you're getting ready to open your slides. Always make sure you have plenty of room to open your slides and your automatic awnings.
Enter order 117, please. Enter order 117.
Oh, thank you, Bob. You have one manual awning, and that's the one that's up top here. That manual awning, you will have to attach the little extended pole thing to this left side here and manually crank that awning open and manually crank that awning closed. That extends out over your back porch area here. And you'll find that rod up in your front storage area, I believe. As we come on around, you're going to find a tool or storage area here, accessible through your 751 key. Right here is a vent. On the other side, you have another vent that gives you cross ventilation. We'll show you how those work from the inside. You basically squeeze them and push them out. Right here, you have another automatic awning and a porch light. Here you have access to your onboard electric refrigerator. And this refrigerator does swivel, so you can access it from either inside or outside. Remember that this is electric only. It is not gas powered, so when you are in transport, it will only stay cold as long as the items inside were chilled to stay cold. Or if you're running your generator, it would stay cold while you have that generator power. Overhead, you have your automatic awning. Your automatic awning is a nice feature. It keeps you from having to open and close your awning manually. A couple of things about that automatic awning. The awning manufacturer tells us to tell you, do not ever tie these awnings down. You will see a lot of people with the old manual awnings, they have them tied down, but if you tie them down, you can run the risk of damaging your support arms. Anytime the wind comes up or you have a big rainstorm or a windstorm, you need to close these awnings up. They are not designed to be out in inclement weather. Nice little gentle rain, you're sitting out here with them, that's okay. But if a big storm comes up, you want to close these things up, because if the wind gets up underneath them, it's going to take that awning right up over the top of your unit. Another problem for these awnings is if you put them away wet and store the unit with the awning wet, when you open it up, you're going to find it all moldy and mildewed. You're going to want to, when you get home, you want to open that awning up, and on a nice dry day like today with the sun out, when there's no wind, you want to let that awning dry out completely and make sure that before you get ready to store it and close it up, that you let that dry and let it be nice and dry before you store it. If it does start to mold and mildew with you, you can use all kinds of awning cleaners on it, or what I found works really well is about half and half water and bleach mixed together with a little bit of RV cleaner, and rinse it down really well then and let it dry real well. Both awnings operate the same. The back awning operates independent from the front awning from inside here, and we'll show you where that is. The front awning operates from inside your main control panel. Always be careful when you get ready to bring this awning out, just like your back door. Plan ahead when you park your unit, because if there's a tree branch sticking out there, the tree branch is going to win, the awning is going to get damaged. On the side of your galley slide, you're going to find access to the back side of your refrigerator, really for techs to get into. Your entertainment area here. I apologize, right at the beginning of your DVD on the outside here, it was a little noisy, so I shut it down. But it does work very well, and it'll pop on here in just a second. Outside speakers here for your inside stereo, operates through those. And we'll let it come on, and then actually it was working, so we'll just go ahead and shut it down. I would recommend that you not store this out here when you're having in transit, so we are going to go ahead and put this on the inside of your unit. And this is lockable. And your easy access entry door, or handle. Up top too is your vent to your cooktop vent. You have to be about Bob's height to get up there and pull those little dog ear tabs down to let that thing open. Then always make sure that you close those before you tow your unit, otherwise you'll get rainwater in there if you drive through a rainstorm, and that could cause damage to the inside of your unit. Again, your easy access entry door handle, lift, pop it over for travel, and pop it back to get in and out of your door. Try to remember that. That's be one of the things that you forget when you get ready to tow your unit. We're going to stop our DVD now and move inside your unit and show you the inside of your Voltage. As we come inside your 2013 Voltage, we'll start at the door area. We have your fire extinguisher just to the left. And right in here, we have a couple of things. First of all, when you're sweeping out your unit, this has a nice feature for this particular model, is that when you sweep everything over here, you don't need to bother with a dustpan. Your onboard vac system, you simply hit that, and it will suck everything right into there. You can now plug your vac hose into here, and that will actually turn on the vac system when you plug it into here and vacuum out anything else that you want to vacuum. Your electrical system is all hidden in here. Your 110 breakers are here, work just like your ones at home. Right here is your 12 volt system. If any of your 12 volt fuses go out, one of these little red LED lights here will glow, telling you which one of those is out that you need to replace. Those are available at most automotive type stores or camper stores. Again, you have storage in here. As we come up into this area here, this is your main control area, which we refer to outside. And there are a couple of things in here. Actually, there are many things in here. First of all, starting down in this area, here you have your cable satellite hookup area. And right now it's hooked up through your onboard antenna system. So I'm actually using right now my antenna boost. So if I push this little button in here, that little light's going to go out and my antenna boost system is going to go off and I lose my picture. So when I push this back in, my antenna boost system is going to go back on and my picture will eventually come back because I now have my built-in antenna boost system working. When I put my unit into storage, I'm going to want to make sure to turn this off because that will draw down my battery. Right above this is a little 12 volt charger. So it would be like a 12 volt plug in a car. If I have a cell phone or another 12 volt type unit that I want to charge, I can plug it in here and that would charge that for me so that I could charge up something and not have to have it plugged into my auto or my tow vehicle. This is where I could hook in my satellite and put my satellite receiver. Right here is my AM/FM DVD player, and that is controlled by this remote. This remote here is for my TV, and we'll go ahead and shut that down right now. And your DVD player is accessed through here, controlled by this section here. Right here is my main control panel, and we'll start from the top left area. You'll notice these are all my outside lights. And you're going to notice when you're working with your outside lights that occasionally you're going to come into your unit and this little red light is going to stay on because someone with the remote has turned on this little outside light button on your remote. This is designed so that you could take this when you go up to on a hike, you go to the bathhouse, you're taking a nice long shower, you're walking back to your unit and it's dark now, so you can turn that outside light on as you walk up to your unit. But you're also going to notice that as you're turning all these lights off, as you're getting ready to go to bed, you're turning all your outside lights off, that light stays on until you turn it off here. So don't let that freak you out. Your awning control, to bring your awning in, can be controlled either by this switch here or by your remote. Hello, remote.
Push OK.
Oh, okay, thanks, Bob. Next, we're going to go to awning, and we're going to bring the awning in by using the remote. Or I can bring the awning in by using the retract button here. So I could be extending or retracting the awning by using the remote control, which would be really nice. If I wasn't sure if that awning is going to clear that tree branch, I could stand out there and physically watch my awning to make sure it's going to clear okay. I let that awning to come all the way in until I physically hear it secure itself up against the unit. I might want to stand here and watch. Once it's up against the unit, then I don't need to do anything else. My awning is ready to transport. As I come on down, I find my water heater controls to turn the, I can't see because of the glare.
LP gas.
Thank you, Bob. The LP gas part on. I'm going to turn that on here. And notice the little DSI light is going to come on. That's going to stay on until my gas water heater successfully lights off, and then I know that everything is good with my gas water heater. I turn my electric on here, but even though I turned it on here, remember I didn't turn that electric switch on out at the hot water heater. So, see that light went out? I am now heating my water heater with gas. If I turn that off, even though I've got the electric water heater button turned on here, I'm not going to get any heat out of my water heater because I have to go out there and physically flip that other switch on by pulling that counter pin out and allowing that to turn itself on out there as well as here. But since I don't need hot water, I'm going to shut that down also. My onboard water pump, I'm going to turn that on here, and now I'm using the water in my onboard fresh water tank, and I can now turn my water faucets off and on, and the water pump in my onboard system is going to pressurize my system, and my water pump will pump water when I need it and not pump water when I turn the faucet off. I always want to turn this switch off when I'm transporting my unit in case one of my water faucets come open. That way I don't have to worry about water splashing out in my unit as I'm towing my unit. Coming on over is my metering system. Bathroom 1 is my main bathroom or my master bathroom, and through that one I'm going to check my generator, and even though it's going to tell me my generator is empty, my generator tank, I know I have 5 gallons in it because my technician put 5 gallons in it. When I'm full, I think I have around 30-35 gallons in it. My battery should always show full when I'm plugged in. My freshwater tank is about 2/3 full, so I probably have about 100 gallons. My black water is empty, and my gray water, which is my sink in my shower, is empty. My bathroom 2, which is my back area, these are going to be the same. My fresh water is the same. My black is empty. My gray is empty. So I'm going to go back to that. Over here I have my slides. My slide room 1, glide room, glide 2, glide 3. Glide A or 1 is usually my front bedroom, my main slide, and my galley slide. I can also do those with my remote. Main, galley, and bedroom. And again, I could physically stand out there and watch those slides go out to make sure that they're going to clear okay. Now, when I push this in, you saw that it lit up. If I don't use it for approximately 2 to 5 minutes, it will shut itself down. And you're also going to find an adapter that will charge this then. And this stores itself right up here. Then I also have a remote start for my generator. And then I could start up my generator in here. Ceiling lights. are all in my main cabin. And we'll go ahead and turn those back on. Coming on around, actually before we come around, above Bob's head is my smoke detector, and we have removed the battery for that because when we first start up the furnace, that tends to set that off, and we wanted to double check that for you. And that battery will be located in your drawer along with the charger and your adapter for your outside water and all of your remotes. You also have a key fob for your unit that you can take with you so that you can use this in addition to your your remote access or your keyless entry, lock or unlock, and that will be also located in here. You also find a toilet paper dispenser located in here. Manufacturer does not install that as they do not know for sure where you want that. You can install that yourself. You also have manuals located in this drawer, and the remote unit for your tow vehicle is located in this drawer. Make sure that you send in all of your warranty information to get your warranty and your unit registered for all the warranty information that you would need in case you would need to have warranty work done. Coming on around here, you have your fantastic vent, which is located above Bob's head. Turn that on, raise that by hitting the raise button. And on that unit you also have a speed control, high, medium, and low, which is actually located up on that little round switch. Bob, does that one have the...
No.
No, it does not have the little water sensor. You can turn the fan off and on from here and or lower it from here. They also make, Max Air makes a vent cover that will go over that so that you can actually have that running when it is raining, which is a nice feature. I have that on my unit. As we move right here, this is your air control. Right now we have it set on zone 1. And we have it set on air conditioning, and we have your temperature set at 61. Your air conditioning all comes through your overhead, and zone 1 air conditioning air conditions your garage, your main cabin, and you have a couple of ducts for your zone 1 air conditioning in your front cabin. So you can cool your entire unit with your air conditioner for zone 1. You also have a separate air conditioner for your front cabin or your front bedroom. Your heating is all controlled only through zone 1 by scrolling through mode and going to heat, our furnace. And we'll not let it go to that because I don't want that to kick on. We'll go back to cool. But if you go to furnace, then your furnace is all controlled through your lower floor ducts, and only zone 1 provides heat, and that provides heat for your entire unit. In addition to heating and cooling, you also have auto, and you can set it at whatever temperature you want to, and it will turn the heat off and on, or air conditioning off and on, depending on what temperature you have it set for. You can also go to fan, and the fan will operate through the air conditioning part of your unit, but it will not be air conditioned air, it will just simply be a circulating fan. You can turn the zone 1 off, and it will eventually shut down either the air conditioning or, as you can hear now, it is shut it down. Remember to run your air conditioner, one air conditioner at least 30 amps, both air conditioners 50 amps. Your heat is LP gas generated and will work through your 12-volt inverter, and you can use your heat when you are dry camping off your battery. You can also get inside temperature and outside temperature. So we'll go back to cooling in zone 1, which is operating off of our 30 amp system. You have a thermostat up in the front cabin, which will tell you that it will do both heat and furnace, but it will actually only give you air conditioning control through your front unit. It will not actually control the furnace at all up there. As we come up to the bathroom, you have a sliding door here. Always make sure this is latched when you get ready to transport your unit. Great porcelain toilet here. Push halfway down to flush. I'm sorry, to fill, all the way down to flush. And this is where you would put the chemicals to treat your black water tank. Always put new chemicals in your toilet every time you dump your black water tank to keep that system working properly. Oops, sorry. Your shower is here. Nice large shower with a nice overhead skylight. Access panel to the plumbing. When you get ready to transport your unit, always make sure you clip this safety so that this door does not pop open and swing back and forth, causing damage to your unit. Off-on switch for your 2 overhead lights. And again, you have a power vent here that you would open and hit the little switch to turn on. Another spot that you might want to consider putting a max air vent cover over so that you can again use that when you are in inclement weather. Water here, and you access the drain by popping the little drain down to allowing the water to drain. Here's your ground fault wall plug that we were talking about. As we move into your bedroom, you have another TV set here, and you'll find this remote located up here. Nice storage areas up here, individual reading lights controlled here and here. Under your under your bed are some of the things that we were talking about out back. These 2 large pillows are the 2 pillows that you would slip into either both the front and the back to provide that surround seating in that dinette area back there. And I'm sorry, I told you that I thought this was located in that front storage area. This is the pole that you need, thank you Bob, to access that back awning, and it's stored up underneath here. Here's your table for your main dinette, and in this box you're going to find your air bed that converts your sofa into a sleep sofa. And you have an extra piece of trim board here. Goes in the back section of your unit. We'll show you where that goes when we get back there. We get little snowflakes out when we run the air conditioner the first couple of times. Emergency exit window over here. Make sure you run your shades using both hands. Pop the red handles up and emergency exit. If you need to readjust the shades, Bob's going to show you this little screws on either side of the windows. You can adjust the tension on these, retension your shades to get them to line up more correctly then. This is one of the critical areas in your slide operation. You always need to make sure that these doors are closed, because if this door is open, there's a good chance that that slide will catch that, ripping that door handle off. Make sure that nothing is stored right in here, because when this slide comes in, it comes right over against this bed. You also need to make sure that these door handles are closed. If this is open, this is going to puncture into this wall panel. This neat little thing here is your thermostat control for your front thermostat. Off-on switch, and we should have a control someplace for that unit. That may be controlled. I'm sorry. There's the control for this unit is actually down there on the wall. It's controlled from that unit. This is the thermostat control for that. That's zone 2. So what you would do is when you're going through there, you'll go to zone 2, and zone 2 would be this air conditioner. And we're not going to turn that on because we're hooked into a 30 amp system and I don't want to mess up your air conditioners. So zone 2 is controlled when you go into zone 2. That's this air conditioner, and that would be controlled actually temperature wise through here. You don't have a separate control panel up here in your unit. Right up here, what Bob was pointing at is your onboard antenna. In order to raise that antenna, if you need additional help with your TV, you crank it clockwise, pull this down, and rotate to get a better picture. Always making sure that this little arrow on this back side here lines up with the one that's built into the ceiling before you crank this down. If you don't line those two arrows up, there's a very good chance that when you get to your next destination that the antenna will not have seated properly on the roof and it will not be there. You'll hear it clunk as it comes down onto your roof. You also, on your unit, have these really nice turnable vents that you can open and or close these to adjust the amount of airflow into your bedroom area. Wall switches to turn lights off and on. And we'll move down into your main cabin area. If you have problems with your doors when you try to open and close them, they won't quite line up, it's very probable that your unit is not level. And again, right here, you would go to zone 2, and you'll notice right here, as Bob comes around, it's gone to zone 2, and it tells you that it's off. And I can scroll through and go to mode, cool, fan, or off. And we'll leave it off because I don't want to have both air conditioners come on. So that's where you would control that air conditioner in your front bedroom. And we're going to go back to zone 1. Over here, you have your sofa, your sleep sofa. And under here, you have nothing, sorry.
Storage.
Right here you have storage. Is there storage under that one, Bob?
Yep. Second board.
Ah, storage under here. Thank you, Bob. Storage under here. And here you'll find the 2 poles or posts that go into here and here for that table that was under your master bed. And then this clips for transit. You're going to notice right here you have your 2 sink covers. We put those there so that they don't tend to bounce off while you have your unit in transit. Over here you also have storage. And that box that we referred to in there that we said was your air bed. When you take that air bed out of there, you'll lay it out over here, plug it in, it will inflate itself, covering this void, and gives you a nice bed here. When you get ready to deflate it, plug it back in again, switch it to deflate, and it will suck itself back up so you can fold it back up and put it right back into that box again. You're going to notice a couple of little lights here, individually controlled for mood lighting, and these all come off so that when you're turning this into a bed, you can rearrange these cushions however you decide to. Right here is your LP gas detector just to the left of the main steps up to the bathroom. That will detect if you have an LP gas leak. It's also very sensitive to some sprays such as Clorox spray. And if your unit starts to go have a dead battery, that will most of the time start tweeting at you. Behind Bob is your galley and the galley slide. In your galley you have your cooktop, and remember to, before you try to vent your cooktop with your vent fan, excuse me, you have to open that flap. You have your convection microwave oven. Your cooktop is a 3-burner gas stove with a spark igniter. Push in, turn to light, and turn the spark igniter. All 3 burners light off the same way. There's a very good chance when you've just switched over to a new tank or when you're switching completely to new tanks that your burners will not light the first time or the second time or so with the spark igniter. That's when you're going to want to use, and we provide these for you, one of these flame lighters to light off your burner. It will light much easier because you can hold the flame down there rather than continuing to hold the spark igniter. That's because you have air in your line, and it takes a little while to purge that air out of the line from the propane tanks. To light off your oven, I'm going to show you where you do that. You push the oven light or the oven control in to where it says pilot, press, and hold. We're not going to actually light that off, but you would hold that in while you do this process. And Bob's going to kind of show you underneath here. Under here there's a silver area, and then there's a little brass fitting that sticks out. That's the pilot light. Right in the very front of that is where you would hold the flame, right here, and you would hold the spark lighter flame in the front of that until you see that blue flame light up there. Once that blue flame lights up, you have successfully lit off your pilot light. Then you would release this gently. If that blue flame stays on, then you have successfully lit your pilot light. Then you can go ahead and set whatever temperature you need and do your cooking. This area down here is the heating area. Up here you have the 3 different levels for your cooking area. Makes great brownies. We recommend to you when you're finished cooking, if you're not going to use the oven again that day, that you go ahead and shut it off, and the next time you get ready to use it, restart your pilot light. Also, we recommend very strongly that you wait and make sure that the cooktop is cool before you close the cover, or you can cause heat damage to the top of your cover. Nice, large, side-by-side freezer and refrigerator. We've had it on since I came in about 7 this morning, and it's gotten quite cold. Your refrigerator is both gas and electric. When you turn it on and you set it to mode, you want it to go to automatic, and it will automatically go to AC unless you manually switch it over to LP. So I'm going to switch it back to automatic and let it go to AC. Now, if I was to go out and we were to unplug your unit, it would automatically switch itself over to LP gas. Advantages to the LP gas would be that you're now cooling on LP gas if you're doing dry camping and you don't have electric. The advantage to leaving it on automatic is it will switch itself back and forth, and whenever you're plugged in, it would automatically go to electric and not drain your LP tanks. For insurance purposes, we recommend to you that whenever you're towing your vehicle and you've got this cooled down, that you shut this off, because this is considered an open flame, and there are many states that have no open flame laws. And if you pull this into a filling type station and somebody is filling up a gas vehicle next to you, that is, and this lights itself off, that's an open flame, there could be a problem from the fumes from the gas next to this open flame. So you would shut it off while you're towing it, turn it back on again when you arrive to your destination. You have probably 4 to 6 hours of cold time with this unit, maybe even longer if you have it good and cold and closed down. When you get ready to put it in storage, you're going to want to shut it off completely. It will turn itself off. You're going to want to dry, especially these fins down. Hit it the inside with a good bathroom type cleaner containing some type of bleached material to get rid of the mold and mildew possibilities. Then you're going to want to pop these little pins out so that when you close the doors, they don't close all the way and they stay partially open. All 4 doors have these little pins because you want to have airflow into that refrigerator so you don't get a buildup of mold and mildew. And we're going to go ahead and leave it shut down so that it's ready to transport to you. Overhead, you have back here besides your smoke detector, you have a CO2 detector in the ceiling that is also uses a 9-volt battery. Your cooktop area, and in this area here you're going to find your sink with your startup kit, and you're going to find in here information on winterizing and dewinterizing your unit, and you're going to also find your keys. That's where your inserts would go that we've taken out and put over there for safe transit. They send them to us when your unit arrives with the sink inserts up here. We take them out because we found that they tend to bounce out when we're sending them to you. You can do whichever you feel most comfortable with. In here is your nice large pantry with a work light. Right here you have a very nice storage area, which is also set up for washer and dryer if you decide at some point to add that.
That's where that shelf goes.
Ah, thank you, Bob. That shelf that's up underneath your bed in there, that shelf goes in here if you wish to add that shelf in here. They don't put it in here in case you were to ask for a washer dryer unit to be installed. Thanks, Bob. Access from your main cabin to your extra bed or bathroom. And this would be bath 2 on your monitoring. Your overhead loft area. And access to your garage. Watch your steps going into your garage. And always make sure that this door is closed securely when you are transporting your unit. We have your beds down in the area so we can show you actually how they would be used for bunk beds, because unless you're short like I am, it would fit under here. It would be a little bit hard to use this as the dinette right now. You'll notice that this is all poofed up. That's because when they come from the factory, they actually have the table here that's to be used in this back area. So the table you're going to find is stored up here. Most of the time your poles are stored up underneath the in that back toolbox area. And what we're going to do now is we're going to convert this over to the bunk beds. Notice the extra support legs here that you would put down. And before I do that, your carpet for this area here and your outside ladder we've already talked about, and your 2 black inside ladders, one for your bunk bed here and one for your bunk bed in your loft area. Now you're ready to use this as double bunk beds, obviously after you take out the table. In order to raise this, you use the bed control, which is back here, and it's going to tell you that the power beds must be in the up position for travel. There are 4 pins that are these small little pins that are going to be contained right up here in this shelf, and then there are 4 of these great big large pins that are going to be on this shelf. The 4 big pins are to hold those surround seating in for when that's opened up and in set up as the surround or wraparound seating. They go up underneath there. Once you insert one from here and one from the back, 1 pin on either side, and then clipped to keep those in place so they don't slide out when you're sitting on them. The other 4 little pins, we're going to show you where they go. On each rail, there's a pinhole, a pinhole, a pinhole, and a pinhole. And on each rail, you would, once these bunks are up, we'll show you where they go in, and they hold the top bunk in the upper position. Why would you want that bunk to stay in the upper position? Well, if you're about Bob's height, when you get ready to bring these bunks down and you want to use this as a dinette seating area, you want to have a little headspace, so you would pin that upper bunk in the upper position and drop just the lower bunk, and the upper bunk would stay in position then, giving you ample seating space to walk underneath there and have plenty of space to sit. So Bob's going to show you. And you would pin that on all 4 spots with the 4 pins. Now, to transport your unit, you do not have to have those pins in. It's perfectly safe, thank you, Bob, to transport your unit in the position it's in now. You will also notice that in the rails, there's a stop here. That is what actually stops that top bunk. The lower bunk comes right on past it. You can adjust the height of that upper bunk. If you adjust one, remember you would readjust all 4, or you're going to have that top bunk a little cockeyed. While we have both bunks up, you're going to notice what I was talking about outside. If these rails here are not completely in place, when you try to open or close that door, they will catch on the door stop here, and that door will either not open or close. Here's where the outside pins go, and up top is the, what did you call that, Bob?
Gusset.
The gusset, where that gets attached to the top there. And it is possible to transport your unit with those cables already attached. Once you do that, then all you have to do is open that door from the outside, and that will keep that big back door open, all ready to be used as your deck area. But then you would have to release that in order to bring your toys in or out. We also recommend to you, when you're bringing your toys in or out, obviously you're going to have to move these out of the way, and all of this stuff would be out of the way, but as you bring these blinds up, because we have found that people tend to lean against the walls when they're strapping their toys down, be it a motorcycle or a quad or whatever, and you tend to tear these blinds up when you lean up against them. Other items you're going to find in your toy hall or your garage area. This is your control for your automatic awning, in and out, just like your one on the front, only this one is not controlled by that remote control. You also can hear a fan running. That is the fantastic fan that is over Bob's head, and we're going to go ahead and lower that, and it will shut itself down, and that's controlled right here. And that's another spot you might want to put a max air vent, and that would probably use a max air 2. Access here to your refrigerator that swivels. Light switches for one of these is the inside light. This one is your backup lights outside, and your back work light there. These two lights here are individually controlled. And I think that about covers everything. You do have heat ducts here, so you one heat duct.
Entertainment center.
You do get a little bit of heat here, and you do have, I think, one air duct for your air conditioner that comes out in here. So you can get a little heat, a little bit of air. You have an entertainment center here, and we'll leave the DVD for the TV here. And you have controls here for your indoor and outdoor speakers. They are rocker switches, but the bottom actually does nothing. It's either off in the middle or on up top. The bottom, they must have gotten a deal on the three-way switches. In order to access your stereo, you actually turn it on with this little remote Bob, and then it comes on, and then you can do your source and scroll through and get the AM FM. And this is also your CD, wait a minute, let's see if I remember how to access that, CD and DVD player for this unit back here. And then you shut it off here. I believe that covers everything in your garage area. Obviously you're going to want to strap all these things down for transport. And we'll move back into the front area. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to call us. On the catalogs in your startup kit, you'll find phone numbers to our service department. Talk to any of our service techs or ask for any of the walkthrough gentlemen. Again, my name is Dan. Bob and I work together a lot on these. We'll be happy to answer any of the questions that we can for you. I know you'll have a great time with your new 2013 Voltage. Happy camping, and thank you again for purchasing your unit from Holman Motors.